Hey, it's your girl Jelly Jams, and I'm still out here jamming. But real quick, before you listen to the episode, here's a disclaimer. Me and Precious, we just best friends chopping it up, having conversations, so don't take everything we say to the bank, alright? We don't want no smoke. So, listener discretion is advised, and remember, we just having conversations with no butter. So, thank you for listening. Please go follow, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Now keep jamming, y'all. Real quick, here is a word from our sponsor.
Today's episode is sponsored by PRESH Equity Group Consulting, LLC. PRESH Equity Group is a social enterprise consulting firm committed to conceptualizing, constructing, and championing an equitable future through fostering collective healing and respect for human dignity. Through PRESH Equity, Preciously facilitates trainings, builds curriculums and assessments, and offers consulting to organizations committed to creating an equitable and accountable workplace culture. Preciously Thompson is the founder and CEO of PRESH Equity Group. If you are interested in working with PRESH Equity or Preciously, please feel free to book a free consultation at our website, www.presheliequity.com. PRESLIEQUIT, PRESHEquity.com.
P&J no butter? What you mean though?
Jelly jams with this heat though. No butter. It's precious and jelly. Here to give you this bread. Righteous and ratchet, so your soul gon' get fed. It's precious and jelly. Here to give you this bread. Righteous and ratchet, so your soul gon' get fed. It's precious and jelly. Okay.
You better break them.
Hello.
It's P&J No Butter, having another episode. Yo, Presh.
What up?
Ew, she ugly. I'm Jelly, and we just two best friends about to have a conversation.
Righteous or ratchet?
Okay, she professional.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both with no butter. No, aka no filter for those who. Hey. I don't know why I had to do that extra. Hey, we're talking about grace and mistakes. Ooh. Because, on my end, man, since we last met, I've realized people really don't get that much grace. And I'm not sure if I give that much to myself. Because on the other end, I make a whole bunch of mistakes. But how you feel about that, Presh?
I definitely feel that there is a lack of grace given in this world. We are in a grace deficit if we're depending on receiving that grace from human beings.
So what do you think grace looked like now in today's time? With everything being on social media, everything being recorded from your mistakes to your successes, everything is a highlight reel.
Yeah, there's literally no grace. Like we're living in cancel culture right now. Like people, not to say that people shouldn't be held accountable for the harm that they cause people. But when you have no grace, you're canceling people. And, you just cut them off, you silence them. And when you do that, you give people no space to grow and learn and make mistakes, right? And, that's part of what we're talking about. You can't learn you can't learn to do it right until you've done it wrong, right? Or you might be doing something one way this whole time you've been thinking you've been doing it right and it's been wrong the whole time. So I don't know, there's just in cancel culture there's no grace and people need to learn what accountability feels like
ooh,
what does that feel like, what does that look like, and know that there is grace involved in that process.
Yeah, that accountability part definitely hit me because I take it personal. And so it takes me a while to learn from whatever lesson I was supposed to learn because I took my accountability to heart, like I got in my feelings or get in my feelings.
Before, don't take things personal.
Yes.
Always do your best. Be impeccable with your words and don't make assumptions.
Ooh, that part. I think that's like the recipe for a good life gumbo.
The 4 agreements, that's what it's called.
The 4 agreements, yes. Say them 4 agreements again. Impeccable.
Be impeccable with your words. So, like, that's like, pay attention to what you say and what you put out into the world and how you say it and the words that you use. If you're being impeccable with your words, you're always intentional with your words. You recognize that your words have power behind them. So, you know, you're not on the internet, you know, subtweeting. I sound like an old person.
I can't.
You're not on the internet and talking trash on people's names, you know, putting disrespect on people's names. You're not speaking down on yourself. You're not speaking down on the people that you love. Your words are impeccable. So they come with love. They come with intention, and they come with power. The other one is always try your best. So as long as you are giving your best, even if your best in one day might be just waking up and getting dressed, and your best in another day might be doing everything that's on your to-do list. It doesn't matter as long as each day you gave your best, right? So always try your best. So don't beat yourself up for anything. So I'm not going to beat myself up for being salty that this semester I'm probably going to get a B when I knew I could have got an A, even though you want to hate on me for being upset about that. Still know that I did my best. So I'm not going to allow myself to be upset. And then the next one is don't make assumptions.
Okay, wait. While we on impeccable word, y'all, look, let me slide in. Okay, this Jelly here. I'm going to slide in because I'm jelly. Okay, first of all, when she told me about how she felt about her grades, you know, in the beginning of the story, how a story sounds a little sad, and you think, dang, this is about to be a bad ending.
Because it was sad for me.
But I thought she was about to say, y'all, you know, like a D, C minus maybe. Okay, I'm not trying to hate, but that's what I assumed which we was going next. So you might as well go. I just assumed that's what that just showed. Go ahead, Presh.
Just saying, it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those B's where you was like 8 points away, like two discussion posts away from having an A. That's annoying.
It is.
Okay, so let me feel how I want to feel.
You got it.
Anyways, I did my best, so I ain't gonna be mad about it. And then the last agreement is do not make assumptions. Because when you make assumptions, you make an ass out of you and me. Right? So I think with not making assumptions, that also reminds us to not speak failure over ourselves and not, deny ourselves grace, because we might be assuming that we are going to do more harm, or we might assume that there is no space for us to grow and change and become better, more well-rounded and more loving and open people. Right? So don't make assumptions. So yeah, that's the 4 agreements. So when you said, look, you just look like such a hater in that corner. I'm glad we got a camera set up today to capture it. But yeah, so when you were saying whatever it was that you were saying, because you just did the absolute most since I started explaining the 4 agreements, it reminded me of the 4 agreements. Oh, because you did your best. And as long as you were doing your best, you should not be beating yourself up.
Okay, the part that she forgot at the end, I did tell her I was proud of her. So, of course, she ain't going to say that part at the end. I said
I was talking about she was proud of me, but not because of school.
It was everything.
Because of something else.
Yeah, but it was a combination, because I expect you to be that bookworm achiever. And for those listening ears, she got on these glasses, y'all. I think she all looking all professional and educated.
Because I finally looked the part.
Oh, snap. Well, since you brought up a book, I've been reading Mastery by Robert Greene, and I just got to chapter 2 because that book is thick, and I'm back to my reading rainbow days. I'm bringing that back for myself. The Mastery book is like the junior version of a Harry Potter book. It's a lot. But anyway, just made it to chapter 2, and it talks about, he basically combines mistakes and failures equals education. Like, taking shortcuts can get you there, but you ain't gonna stay there nor maintain there. But mistakes and failures is education, and it tells you about your own inadequacies, which that's the part of what I was saying earlier. If I make a mistake and I own it, I also take it personal because it just exposed like a weakness. It just exposed something that I'm not good at. It makes me feel negative, even though to the world, y'all might not get that deep. But to me, it's that deep. And then I get into this other level of quietness and then I shut down.
I do want to say, just before we go, the correct name of the author of the 4 Agreements is Don Miguel Ruiz with Janet Mills. Yeah, so I said his name incorrectly. My apologies. But yeah, you're not giving yourself grace if you're just shutting down, not allowing yourself to make mistakes.
It's like growing up deep in the church. I don't want to call it church system.
Deep in the church.
Deep in the church. I don't know. That was auto-tune. My bad. In church, they tell us that God gives us grace and not talking about us giving us grace. And there's some that talks about it, but not really. And so I never understood what that looked like. But I understood.
Wait. Just so I make sure I'm following you, because I don't be up in there like all of that.
In the 4 walls.
Or at least in there enough to know what you're talking about. So when you say that they talk about God giving grace but not humans, are you saying like there's no reference to humans, people giving each other
Yes,
grace?
I mean there's stories in the Bible, but far as like grace and mercy, that's all you hear. Grace and mercy, he brought me to... Okay, y'all know the song. Anyway, even... Some of y'all know the song, hopefully. If not, go YouTube it, please. It's a good spiritual song for the core. But anyway, even with sermons and everything that I heard, all the songs and the sermons, their main point is just like God gives us grace. God show us grace because we keep falling short by, lusting out here, being greedy, all that. He shows us grace. He keep waking us up. When it comes to people, that message got diluted for me because I didn't understand what that looked like for yourself.
Okay.
When they bring up stories in the Bible of people showing grace and all of that, that all makes sense. But showing it for yourself, that part got a little, blurred lines.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying. Because I was really sitting here like, okay, now look, it's not like I ain't never went to church or never tried to go to church, but I didn't get that. So am I missing something? I was really concerned. Because I know some might still qualify me as a heathen, but I didn't think I was that far gone. So thank you for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying. But yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I don't think that I really grew up learning how to give myself grace either. Especially like as an oldest child, I always felt like I was responsible not only for myself, but for what everybody else did. So if anyone else did something and it went wrong, then somehow it was still my fault. And I think I really did like internalize that and took it personal. Oh, that's why I was talking about the 4 agreements. Because last time you were saying you take it personal.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I did then. I took it personal, and I would see it as like me failing, and so it made me want to not only control what I was doing, but also control what everybody around me was doing, because somehow I felt responsible for me and all of them, and that's not grace.
Okay, so let's see if I could try to find an example of how to show grace for self. Okay, so y'all, this is the impeccable sentence moment. So I'm a producer, okay, of podcasts, TV shows, and films.
She does it all.
Yeah. I'm a producer, director, editor of vocals and visual. But I do.
Yeah.
That could have been the song real quick. 'Cause I do. Man, I'm telling you, we should be a girl group. Anyway, when I produce these episodes of P&J No Butter, my radio demos and just all my audio stuff, and it feels like the mistakes is just, they just dripping. It's just dripping with mistakes, and it's just, and it's more because I'm sharing it out to you all. I'm sharing it out to the world. I'm sharing it out to my jammers because, I'm Jelly Jams and, my fans is going to be jammers.
Would have been your jammies.
Jammies?
Yeah.
My jammies be jamming. So I'm going to have some jammies. And so it kind of feels embarrassing. Okay, scratch that, jammies. You guys are jammers. Jammers.
Yes, jammers.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure you get the fans' name right so they know.
But that's just your fans.
Yeah, it's my fans. And you in the professional corporate world.
I can't have fans on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Yeah. I thought this was called P&J, no butter.
No butter. That was the no butter.
It's a jelly jam motherfucking half sandwich. No. That was butter. That was all butter. Just to let you know, you just bought a whole bunch of butter. Anyways. That's on topic. Well, I think of a name to call my fans.
My bad, jammers and to Precious fans that will have a name soon. But I was saying that, so when I'm putting my work out there to you all, it's like, I get embarrassed instantly. Nobody even have to say anything. And then when I do get that constructive criticism, yeah, I take it. But then it's just, I don't do nothing with it. And so I shut down. And so you're saying to show grace for myself, I need to just keep going and keep trying.
You can't shut down. Like, you can be accountable for your mistake in the way in which if you brought it on, like it is your fault, right? And sometimes just not knowing, being ignorant, not to make ignorant sound like a slur, but like just being unknowing and unaware can still be your fault if you were the one who was responsible for educating yourself. And sometimes we just make mistakes and that's okay. So accountability is recognizing, oh, shoot, I dropped the ball. Like I made a mistake. Knowing where and how you can do better so that you don't do that same thing. That's it. When you know better, you do better. Uncle Sal said that to me one day.
Man,
and my cousin Shell said, something is never a mistake if you learned a lesson from it. So if you can find the lesson that was learned from that mishap or that misstep, then you give yourself grace. You take that weight and that burden and all of that guilt and shame off of you because you don't deserve it. It's like that thread I saw it on Instagram, but it was from Twitter. And it was talking about like this intern who accidentally sent like an email or something to like everybody in the list, but it was a big corporation like Microsoft or something. So then the company sent an email out and they're like, hey, our bad, our intern made a mistake. And they were like, but it's okay. We're working through it. We've taught this intern how to do this, so that won't happen. So then a whole bunch of people just started getting on the thread talking about all the really crazy stuff that they did when they were interns and they were learning. And it was a lot of like stuff where you're like, oh my gosh, if you were an employee, you would have been fired. But they had grace because they were students and they were learning. And that's kind of the space that I'm in right now, being an intern in my field placement, but also like working somewhere as a professional and having my own consulting firm.
Hey. Right.
So it's hard to sometimes put myself in a space where like I feel not less responsible for my actions, but I'm in a space where I'm giving myself more grace to make mistakes because I recognize that I'm learning. Whereas even though with like my consulting, I'm always learning. There's new things to learn. I feel more of an expert. I feel more equipped, but like learning how to give therapy, like be a therapist and use actual like treatment modalities with people can be hard and challenging. And sometimes I don't recognize what it is that I'm doing, but I have to remember I'm a student. Like I'm learning. So it's expected that I'm going to make mistakes. It's expected that there's going to be some things that I don't get right. It's expected that some semesters I might get a B instead of an A. But as long as I was trying my best, it's okay. And you are a student too.
Yes.
Like even in this, like the fact that you're a student and you still like have a now 3-episode podcast going, that people like.
Hey.
They like us. They really like us.
Hey.
Right? Yes. So, I mean, that's worth celebrating. So giving yourself grace, you learned a lesson in the mistake that you made, so it's not a mistake anymore. It's a lesson learned, and you can move forward knowing that you're going to apply what was learned. Now, if you don't apply what was learned and you just keep doing the same thing over and over, but expecting different outcomes, well, what do we call that, guys? Insanity.
That's true, because I just also found a similar quote. I have my book journal. I take notes of the books I read. So I have a separate journal for my mind and I have a separate journal for reading. Blah, blah, you get it. Automatic Millionaire. And he was saying, David Batch, B-A-C-H. How y'all pronounce that? I was close. Well, he said in Automatic Millionaire, unused inspiration equals entertainment. I have been entertaining myself with assumed preconceived notions of what everybody else would think of my own mistakes.
Don't make assumptions.
You got me out here thinking in these streets, Fresh. That's why we had these podcasts. It's more so I could talk through my stuff, but
girl saying.
Real talk. No, because for real, like when I'm in this creative space, it's like I belong here. It's like my being. Because I have so many ideas and so many shows that I've been writing down. And I think they're quality. And I'm getting good at understanding other people's stories so I can make their visions come true. Hence, that's why it's my mission to get people out of bed. Burdens and dreams. It's time to get up and get out.
Get up, stand up.
Hey, you know what's...
Stand up, folk, you're right.
You know my favorite artist of all time? Bob Marley, just in case you didn't get the sample. So it's like I'm still writing down stuff and I'm still, I want to call tinkering with me being a producer, editor, also vocal talent. Yes, I am. That's where the name Jelly Jams came from. Well, that's part of why it was.
That really made my stomach hurt.
But you remember we used to do karaoke at the Woodies at OSU in the Union?
Yeah, but you remember singing.
I mean, rapping, singing, whatever. Same thing. I mean, Drake do it. Anyway, shout out to the jammers who support my karaoke. My karaoke dreams. Because, you know, I'm not trying to sing out here for real. I'm just trying to sing out here. Does that make sense?
No, but...
Okay, whatever.
What were you saying? What you write down?
I was saying, like, okay, so, like, since the last episode, I think I probably, even though this is progress, sadly, but I've spent probably 50% of my time feeling down about my mistakes and then 50% of my time applying the knowledge and lessons and stuff I learned to then fix those mistakes. And when you was talking about grace and how to show it, I started yesterday on my learning 5 languages because a future show that will be coming is jamming with jams. All right, y'all, it's going to be different jams. So you're going to see me jamming, trying to learn languages. You're going to see me jamming with my karaoke. You're going to see me jamming, reading. And you're going to see me jamming, trying to learn how to cook. Okay?
That's going to be interesting to watch.
Okay, all
the
these.
Last one.
Oh, why you? Oh, I can cook. Okay, I could cook for survival. That's what she hitting at. That's why she think it's going to be a great one. But then, as soon as I write ideas down and then start to work on it some more, I shut back down, and it's just like, do I have to stop? I feel like I have to stop with learning and studying for a minute and incorporate tools and ways to try to give myself grace, because it seems like I need it. But when you
incorporate those tools, you're still learning.
Oh.
You don't give yourself a break from learning. Now you're just learning how to incorporate the tools. I feel like, what you said that, rewind. The way that you said, you know, that you start writing down your ideas and then you like stop and shut down. It made me feel like maybe you're shutting down because you feel like you are not hitting some expectation that you set for yourself to hit.
Therapy.
This is free. Look at me applying what I'm learning in class. I'm experimenting on you. It's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I actually go to a field placement and report to a supervisor and learn things. And I'm licensed to be learning as a trainee.
And we
had that professional disclaimer.
And another disclaimer, just life disclaimer. She's my best friend. So we've been around each other for now, this 2021? So it'll be 10 years since 2011. So yeah. You're right, though. Honestly, I'm a visionary person. And sometimes God be dropping visions in my brain. I call them little TV segments of like the finished product or just a glimpse of where it could go. And sometimes it'd be very, very, very tiny glimpse. Sometimes it'd be a huge glimpse. I know I am capable of greatness because I am greatness and I've achieved greatness prior. And so when I'm not meeting that standard of my defined greatness, disheartening, it's discouraging.
I just felt my ancestors say, the audacity of you.
Ooh.
like your expectations of, I don't know, this standard of greatness. I have mixed feelings about that because I feel like it's because you know that you are capable of greatness, you should definitely be striving and achieving towards that greatness. But when you're stepping into something new that you're learning, you're not great. You're not even close to it. So, the audacity to think that, you're going to be able to be great. Your first time doing it, you're going to be able to do more than what your teacher is teaching you how to do. The audacity. Come on.
Ooh. See?
We can't be great.
That was no butter.
The things that we learning, yeah. And I mean that's something that I consciously know, and I as someone that if it's not clear, I am an overachiever. I admit to that. But as someone that's used to always things coming easy to me, when things are hard and it takes me longer to learn them, me right now trying to roller skate outside, it's hard, and it really frustrates me that I'm just not already able to dance choreography and become TikTok famous or something on those skates. I'm just not learning how to go up the incline and down the incline. but it's teaching me grace. It's teaching me to be patient with myself. It's teaching me to allow myself to be able to fall so that I know how to get back up and know what to avoid so that I don't fall again. Right? So you can't just be great at something that you're learning, that you're new to, just because you're great at other things.
I mean, you're right. And I agree with that because I think if I had to dig deeper, since I'm a sensitive person, not a crybaby, because I know people like to make those synonymous. But stop. I'm just a sensitive, spiritual queen, goddess, quiet storm person. Like I add that drop. Try to get my radio voice up. Anyway, I feel the pressure. That's a tongue twister. Pressure. I feel the pressure from outside society because when I dig deeper as to why I've had this expectation of feeling great, I should be great already.
So when you dig deep inside of yourself,
yes,
you feel the pressure of the outside world.
I'm letting it get to me. Yeah.
You're internalizing it.
Yes. There we go. We're working through this.
No, and I mean, you had it. I'm just repeating what you said to you because I want you to hear
it sounds
you digging into your side of yourself and you and your safe haven where you can control everything that is happening and you feeling the pressure of the outside world.
You're right.
I'm not saying that this is something I'm free from.
I mean, you're right. But you know what has diluted my mentality and twisted my mindset was all these years of being in a dark place and wearing that smile and just staying jelly while Angelica was out here dying. So that diluted that whole feeling what's inside of me is powerful. It's becoming clear, but it's diluted.
And what do you know now compared to then about power inside of you?
I know where that power stems from. which is God. I know that it comes with resiliency and the capacity to do bigger things. Like, I have that capacity to achieve a lot.
Yeah, and so you know that, and when you know it, it's a fact. Like, it is true. It is, because you say so. Now that you know all of that about that power, right? Don't take what people say that tries to steal away your power or dim that power. Don't take that personal. Always try your best to move and act in that power. Be impeccable with your words to make sure that your words are aligning with the power that you know God has given you. And don't assume that you're going to fail. Don't assume that what other people are saying about you is true. And when you do all of those things, then you're giving yourself grace. And you can still, you can still feel sad. You can still recognize, oh, snap, like someone said something and I really internalized it and let it sit with me. But you remind yourself of those 4 agreements again and get back to giving yourself grace. So now it's not a mistake that you internalized it. It's a lesson. And even if that lesson keeps coming back, as long as you keep practicing giving yourself grace when you recognize that that lesson has repeated itself, it's going to be stronger every time. To eventually the lesson is just going to stop, because you're not going to be internalizing it anymore. So sometimes we might make what we call a mistake over and over and over, but that doesn't mean we're not getting better and better and better at bouncing back from it every time it happens. I should charge you $5 for that one.
Oop, not $5.
I needed that too for myself though, because I've been thinking about quitting my 9 to 5. I've been wanting to quit for a hot minute. There was some conversations had where I was asked to stay and I decided to stay. As time has went on, I've just been realizing I'm just burnt out. I'm not feeling this anymore. And it's not like I don't like the type of work that I do. It's not like I don't like training and curriculum development and diversity and inclusion work, because when I'm doing that for myself as a consultant and bringing in all these new ideas that I'm learning, I love it and I feel like I'm thriving. But when I'm doing that same thing for someone else, but they're dictating, I guess, what I can bring in, even though open to my ideas, it just feels different. It feeds my energy differently. So anyways, I've been thinking about, since June, I've been thinking about quitting my job. I hadn't done it because I was just nervous. Oh my gosh, health insurance. Oh my gosh, we're halfway through a lease. Oh my gosh, this, and that. And I hadn't been thinking about how much God had already been putting in my life and putting in my way, and how many things had already been lined up. So even though I don't have the money in my account right now or whatever it is, it's still coming. I wasn't thinking about all of those things. All week since I've made the decision to go ahead and tell everyone that I'm leaving my full-time job at the end of the semester, I felt super heavy and light at the same time. I feel lighter because I know that I'm gonna have more space to just breathe and do what it is that I want to do and how I want to approach it, and be able to really hone in on what is unique about my approach and what people like about working with me. But at the same time, I feel heavy because it's scary. And
new territory.
It's new. Yeah, that puts a whole bunch more pressure on me, making sure I'm about my stuff. It's easy to BS and slack off when you working for somebody else, but when you working for yourself, it kind of ups the ante. I'm trying to remind myself to give myself grace throughout this, so that it doesn't feel so heavy. Know that there might be some months where it might be a little bit tougher. There might be some times where it's oh snap, I probably should have did this that way, or I did this wrong and I have to go back and do all of this extra work. But at the same time, I don't know anybody else who is directly related to me or that I grew up being raised by that was a business owner that made that leap and is an entrepreneur. And you have to learn how to be an entrepreneur, but it's hard and it's scary. So it's you can still feel emotions of anxiety, emotions of fear and all of that stuff, and know that those emotions are okay to feel, but you can cancel them out and remind yourself what that's coming from. It might be coming from fear. It might be coming from doubt, lack of faith, But if you remember the power that you have and your ability to speak into your life because God's given you the ability to do so, and you trust the way that God moves in your life, you give yourself the same grace that God gives you. And then you get to a point, hopefully, where you're giving that grace to other people, allowing other people to, live and grow. It's like even thinking of ourselves like as toddlers, assuming we all didn't come from super, super toxic environments, when we're learning how to feed ourselves. Every time that we can't pick up a fork or we miss our mouth or some of the food falls on our shirt, our parents aren't, "You stupid baby." Like, you can't eat, put it in your mouth. Like, they're not doing all of that. Hopefully, they're wiping, your shirt. They're making sure that they put clothes on you that they don't care are going to get messy while you learning to feed yourself. And then you take that skill of just feeding yourself and you grow into an adult that then learns how to prepare the food that you're going to feed yourself. And then you can control what it is that you're putting into your body and how your body will consume that energy and what you'll be able to produce. There's grace.
There's grace, because I took that in. Did y'all get that? I hope so. Listening to you talk, I was just like, okay, I'm about to apply that and just keep working and learning on what I enjoy to do, what's going to be my meal ticket, and also what's going to be my passion, my hey, because y'all know I like to eat, so hence the show name, P&J No Butter. Okay. Now she thinks she's karaoke queen, but she's not.
At least I'm not singing. I think that everyone is enjoying my raps more than your singing.
Okay, first of all, I'm like the dream version of T-Pain and Drake remix. You can't say something that's auto-tune
without having the computer to auto-tune it.
I can use my own voice. It's auto-tune singing. That's what I'm doing.
It's bad singing.
You're a hater. Show me grace.
What was it? Didn't we say earlier when you keep doing the same thing over and over for outcomes? Then that's not like, I don't think that's the same as grace. I think that's like insanity.
Hater. Anyway, I'm definitely
and I know I can't sing. I was just saying I ain't singing on the podcast.
But people know I can't sing, but I can sing. That's the thing. Like, there's Beyonce, then there's the karaoke version of Beyonce. There's Kelly Rowland.
Where's the karaoke version?
Here. Hence the name Jelly Jams. I mean, come on. I jam and I sing. I brought my mic is in the car because I'm trying to.
Good thing that we don't have music rights or anything like that right now, so that you can't bust out into full.
But wait till we start getting music rights stuff. Wait till because I can
wait till the sponsors start rolling.
Yeah,
in.
Man. Shoot, pretty soon. We're going to be having artists on the show. They're going to be wanting to jam with me, jam with you, more so me, because I got the, vocals, but you got the brains.
It's okay, because in Precious's Corner, we're going to be talking.
Yeah, y'all talk.
Passion, philosophy.
That's right.
Persevering. Yeah.
So yeah, grace and mistakes. I am definitely going, until we meet again with the next episode, definitely going to work on showing myself more grace, because like I said in the beginning, I get so annoyed that people don't show much grace when I don't even show myself that same level.
Yes, we got to put out into the world what it is that we want to see, what it is that we want to see. And right now, people aren't putting that out there because we're in this cancel culture. So everybody, not to say we shouldn't be recording people doing crazy stuff like that white woman that threw herself onto the ground and faked a whole seizure in Victoria's Secret.
Oh, I watched that.
That was a hot.
I'm not even gonna lie, I laughed a little bit. Because I couldn't believe it was happening.
That was so dangerous in the weaponizing of tears. That's literally how you weaponize whiteness, how you weaponize white tears, all of that stuff. But whole nother conversation.
Yes.
But so I'm not saying we shouldn't be recording people and right now, if that's the only way that we can show proof, look, you did this, and if we gotta force you to hold accountability for it and take responsibility, then that's what it is. But what's been a backlash from that, I would say, is that cancel culture, is that we're telling people to be accountable, and we're putting people in a role where they have to be accountable, but nobody knows what accountability looks like in action. Nobody knows what a conversation that restores a relationship that's been broken or harmed looks like in action. Like, oh, okay, yes, we do. Because if we think about Aunt Viv and Will Smith's conversation,
yes,
on the reunion, like that was both of them being able to say, like, what you did hurt me, and I was angry with you, and Will being able to say, you know, I was young, I didn't know, and I didn't tell y'all everything that was going on. Like, there was just so many things happening from both sides of the space that no one knew what was going on, but they were accountable in that. They gave reasons, but they didn't make excuses, and they still apologized, and they still asked what could be done to do better moving forward. And for them in that moment, it was inviting her back to the rest of the show to be able to connect with the other cast members. And it turned out the light-skinned Aunt Viv and Aunt Bev and dark-skinned Aunt Viv's had never even met.
I know, that was trippy.
But media was like putting them back, like they did this, they did, like, if that would have happened right now, cancel culture. I mean, well, that did happen. We just didn't have a title for it. We didn't call it cancel culture. But like, but that conversation and like the love, like the genuine love that was able to happen and be felt when everybody like reunited, that's what accountability looks like. That's what moving into a space of healing looks like. And with cancel culture, it takes that away. It doesn't give people space to say, this is how I was impacted by what you did, or you know, whether you did it on accident or on purpose. Like, this is how I was impacted, and this is what I would like you to do moving forward. And if this relationship is valuable enough to continue, if the harm wasn't, you know, enough harm to like be done forever, then move in that relationship in that way to learn how to restore it and continue to grow and learn and build together. It's like best friends like us. How many times have we like gotten into arguments like that dumb argument we got into in LA? Like, I don't even remember what it was about, but
still
we
don't
pissed at each other, like arguing in the streets,
cussing each other out.
People looking out the windows like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Like, and it was just like a whole bunch of miscommunications, assumptions being made.
And then stress, because we was in the car all day.
Long drive, stress. We hadn't seen each other in almost a year because I had just moved. And it was a lot, but we talked it out. We got all of that stuff out on the table, talked about what each other was doing that was making things hard, and then went shopping and got lost on Crenshaw or something. I think we found the swap meet on Swap. We found something. We got lost and we figured out where we was at quick. But
I had a good time. That mall where we went to was cool.
Great, and then after that we went to Childish Gambino, and that was amazing.
Okay,
that was amazing. So, but that in and of itself, like, so just thinking, like, for everyone listening, like, think about the person that you love the most in the worst argument that y'all ever had. Is that person still beside you? Like, is that person still loving you? Are you still loving that person through their ups, through their downs, whether it's a platonic or a romantic or even like a family relationship? Right. That's accountability. That's moving towards healing. That's a life without cancel culture. And I think because we are just in this space where so much interaction is on social media and not in person, people can block one another. People can cancel one another, you know, just unfollow them. And it's almost as though that person is completely out of your life. But when it's like family or people that's in your social circle, like, you can't just cancel people because because they ate your serving of dinner. Like, you can't just do that. You can't. There's people who's it's a lot. I mean, obviously there are family members that can be canceled and are toxic and probably should be removed from your life. But I've even heard of stories of toxic family members being able to reunite. And they've both done some healing. And they're both different people in different places. Because we are different people when we're hurting. We're not the same when we're not hurting. The hurt people hurt people. Like, that's what they do. So we can't just keep canceling everybody that's hurting and doing really, really messed up stuff, especially when that stuff was forever ago. But if that stuff was like, if you said something to me out of anger and you were still in that anger, like, I couldn't just cut you off. I might say, look, I'm going to give you some space so that my energy doesn't match yours. But I'm not just going to cut you off because I know that you were angry. So I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to hope that you get freedom from that anger. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, hey, when you were upset, you said this to me and it hurt me. And I didn't think that you truly felt that way, but I wanted to bring it up to you when I knew you were more sound and more calm and more able to receive the conversation. And then we move from there, and hopefully it's a conversation or a relationship that will be restored. But it still starts with, I love this person enough, I care for this person enough to want to see them do better, to want to see them free from what's causing them to harm other people. And I trust that person's going to be able to grow from that and be a better person. We can't spend our whole lives, we can't judge a person for the worst thing that they ever did in their life and just leave it at that.
That need to be on a shirt, a billboard, a PSA commercial.
Grace, forgiveness. That's what God gives us every day.
Yeah. And another thing I heard in that while you was talking, I was like, dang, so I just got to keep working on my healing because it's levels. So my healing, which will allow me to be more open to myself, to give myself more grace when I make mistakes. And so then when I come across other people, because I want a team just like I want to be a part of your team, PRESH. When you get big, well, to me, you already out here doing big things. But when you have like that $1 billion, hey, no, Google her for real. Her information gonna be in the bio. I want a production team. My mission is to help people get out of bed, burn its ends, dreams. So I need to learn how to incorporate grace for my mistakes myself, so then I can know how to show and give grace to other people who make mistakes that come in my path.
Yeah, because that's truly what it is. Like, as humans, when you develop a relationship, a personal relationship with God, with your ancestors, with nature, like, and whatever, and even if you call God something different, like when you develop a relationship that is rooted in love, and you recognize that love is forgiving, love gives you space to grow, love gives you space to make mistakes and learn from them and bounce back. And even if you don't learn at that pace, love loves you enough to give you time to learn at the pace that you need to learn. And we can't experience any of that until we've learned it from God first. We've experienced from God, and God's taught us how to give that to ourselves. And then just naturally, I don't even think we have to work on anything extra. When you feed it to yourself so much, it's just going to seep out of you. It's just going to fall into other people, and you have no choice but to see a person as someone that is in need of that space to learn more, right? Because you're not taking what they're saying to you or the things that they're doing personal, because you see it as a projection. Like, look, you dealing with some stuff and you trying to put that on me, but I already know I'm taken care of. I'm settled. I know what power is in me.
Come on, so praise break.
I ain't even going to chew on what you just said. Instead, I'm going to do what Auntie Tab did when Wendy Williams tried to come at that relationship and pray for you to heal.
I love how she said it too. I like when you said you don't need to chew on that, but I like that. Like, I don't need to chew on or harper on the stuff that people say to me, whether good or bad, because I feel the same way about good. Because sometimes when people be like, yeah, you this and you this, and I be like, pressure, back up. I just need to take it for what it is. If it's good, just put it in my good backpack. And if it's bad, but it got some critiques, take the critiques out and throw the bad in the trash. But don't chew on it so long that now you done swallowed somebody else's projection.
It's like if we just think of it as food and like that we're feeding ourselves with it, because apparently that's the theme of the metaphors we're using to explain this. Because it's popped up again. But if and we're not even hungry, that's the thing. Like both of us just ate.
You just ate.
But if you think of it as like, when you taste something that you, first of all, when you are being introduced to a new food, I don't know about you, even if it's not new, I smell everything before I eat it. Like I don't care what it is. I smell it and I blow it.
Side note,
I eat it.
Queen Patti LaBelle smells her food too. She was on the Breakfast Club last week. Go check out that episode. Go ahead, Precious.
So I smell my food before I eat it. So when I smell it, I know if it's going to taste good. And if it stinks, I generally don't eat it. Unless everybody around me is like, look, I'm going to tell you, like, it has a weird smell, but the taste is so bomb. Like, I don't know, for example, like curry. Some people don't like the smell of curry. Love the taste. I love the taste. I also like the smell because I love the taste so much. But anyways, I digress. But like if you can tell that it's going to stink, you can tell that it's not going to taste good. So you're not going to eat it. And then maybe it's like, oh, it smells good. You taste it and you're like, I don't really like the texture of this. Like, you don't swallow that, you spit it out. You're like, get this out of me, right? So when I say, like, I'm not even going to chew it, like, I already know from the jump, like, I saw that you didn't wash your hands and your kitchen was dirty before you even went to start to cook. Even if it smells good, I'm not going to chew it. None of that, because I know what the materials that you use to make it. I know the energy that was put into that in the space that you were in when you made it. So why would I even put that into my own body?
Facts.
Like I was watching the TikTok, because I've been on the internet way too much, obviously. But there's this woman, it was a black woman. This hurt me so much. She was cleaning her chicken. And when I tell you she had a sink full of water that she said a cap full of bleach and a little bit of dish detergent. And put her chicken in it.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
I thought she was about to say she was about to clean.
No. She put the raw chicken that she was about to cook. She put it in there, swooshed it around, and said, you see how that cloud foamy color, that foggy color is coming in the water? That's how you know your chicken is clean. And then she let the water out, and then she just rinsed water off the chicken, just rinsed it, and then seasoned the chicken still in the bleach infested sink. And was going, I just hope that it was something that was for views, but if it wasn't, she was going to eat that. And I don't care how clean her kitchen was.
Right.
Like, there's bleach in your chicken, sis. So that's like the energy that people give us sometimes. Like, that's the energy that people give us sometimes. Some people surround themselves by toxic people that only bring them